Hey everyone, and welcome to another deep dive. Today we're going to be looking at something kind of interesting, like personal space and how it all connects to confidence when you're around other people.
Yeah. Yeah, it's an interesting one for sure.
Right. And for this one, we've got like a whole mix of sources, some personal stories, you know, um,
Sure.
observations about people at the gym,
Yeah.
and even some stuff from Thich Nhat Hanh.
Interesting combination. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, so before we jump in, there's this word that really captures like that feeling when someone gets a little too close.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, I know exactly what you're talking
So
about.
the word is encroach.
Okay. Encroach.
To encroach basically means to kind of push those boundaries,
Yeah.
you know, like your personal space.
Yeah.
Or it can even mean like starting to use something that belongs to someone else.
Yeah, kind of overstepping those lines a bit.
Right, exactly.
Interesting.
So I don't know, have you ever been on like a bus or a train
Yeah, for sure.
and it's almost empty, but someone comes and sits right next to you,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
way too close?
You get that feeling like, oh, okay.
Right.
A little bit of a personal space invasion.
Yeah, it's so weird.
Yeah.
It is. Why would you
Dang.
do that?
It's strange how much we kind of rely on those unwritten rules of personal space, isn't it?
It really is.
Yeah.
And one of our sources for today's deep dive, they have this question that really got me thinking. They ask, what personal space do you absolutely refuse to give up?
Hmm.
What about you? Is there like a space, in your life that you're like, nope, this is mine?
That's a great question. I think everyone has those boundaries, even if we don't always consciously think about them.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's physical space, sometimes it's more like mental space, or even time, like needing a certain amount of alone time every day to recharge.
That's a really good point.
Yeah. What about you? What's your non-negotiable space?
Well, actually, speaking of space,
Yeah.
one of our sources talks about this funny thing
Okay.
they do at the gym.
All right. Tell me about it.
So they have this rule, a one treadmill buffer rule.
A one treadmill buffer.
Yeah, they always leave at least one treadmill between them and anyone else at the gym.
Huh. That's interesting. I wonder if it's just a need for physical space or if there's something else going on there, maybe a desire for kind of mental solitude while they're working out.
Yeah, maybe it's both, right?
It could be. Our brains are funny things. Sometimes we create these little rituals or habits without even realizing why.
It makes you wonder, though, if sometimes holding on to our personal space so tightly, maybe it could actually kind of stop us from having new experiences,
I
right?
see what you mean. Like by creating that buffer zone, we might also be unintentionally blocking ourselves off from potential interactions or connections with the people around us.
Exactly. And this actually ties in perfectly with something Thich Nhat Hanh said.
Okay, let's hear it.
He said, fearlessness is not only possible, it is the ultimate joy. When you touch non-fear, you are free.
Wow, that's powerful. How do you see that relating to our conversation about personal space?
Well, I was thinking, maybe those people who are super comfortable getting close to others, maybe they're actually showing a kind of social fearlessness,
Hmm.
right?
I like that. It's an interesting way to look at it.
And that fearlessness, maybe it helps them connect with people more easily.
Makes sense. If you're not afraid of those small encroachments on your personal space, you're more likely to be open to spontaneous conversations, chance encounters, all those little moments that can lead to something more.
It's like instead of seeing it as a negative thing,
Yeah.
like someone's invading your space, you can see it as a chance to grow a little.
Exactly. It's not about forcing ourselves into uncomfortable situations, of course.
Right.
But it's more about recognizing that sometimes those little encroachments, whether it's someone standing a bit closer than you'd prefer or striking up an unexpected conversation, those can actually be opportunities for something good, you know,
Huh.
unexpected connections.
I love that. It's a total shift in perspective, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like seeing those moments of, oh, this is a little weird is like, okay, maybe this could be something good.
Yeah, exactly. And this whole idea of personal space, it's not just about physical space either.
What do you mean?
Well, think about all the digital notifications we get constantly. Emails, texts, social media. That's a kind of encroachment too, right?
On our mental space.
Exactly. It's like a constant barrage of information vying for our attention.
It really is.
And learning to manage those boundaries, both the physical and the digital ones, well, that can be really important for our well-being, And it can even free up more space for us to truly connect with others in a meaningful way.
So if we were to kind of sum all this up for our listeners, what would you say are the key takeaways?
Well, we've talked about what it means to encroach, right?
Yep.
We've explored that whole idea of personal space at the gym and even touched on some pretty deep philosophy from Thich Nhat Hanh about fearlessness.
That's right.
But I think the real question we want to leave everyone with is this. Could making small, conscious changes in how we think about personal space, could that actually lead to more confidence and deeper connections in our lives?
It's something to think about, isn't it? Like, how much are we holding ourselves back by clinging too tightly to our own little bubbles?
Exactly. And who knows what we might discover if we're willing to step outside of them just a little bit. It's a journey,
It really is.
and it's one we're all on together.
Well said. Thanks for joining me for this deep dive. It's been a fascinating conversation. And to everyone listening, thanks for being here. Until next time.
Thanks for having me. It's been a pleasure.
See ya.
Bye.